I'm Sarah Gerardo, Senior Marketing Operations Manager here at Service Titan, Chair of Lady Titans, and I'm here today with Stephanie Postell, and of Anchor Air, co-creator, owner, woman-led business owner, operator, mom, you name it. She is everything. And today we're going to talk about e-commerce and the trades. And why Stephanie knows so much about that, I will let her chime in and let her tell you all about who she is.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to see you and, get some coffee and chat in our little coffee shop. I am the Chief Operating Officer and owner of Anchor Heating and Air with my husband, David, in Charleston, South Carolina. And I've been in the trades for about 10 years. I used to run a large plumbing, heating and air company. I was the operations manager for 7 years. And then we left and opened our own company, and that been growing that. But also I had the opportunity to jump into a great position that I was a customer of, which is called Contractor Commerce. And awesome people at the company. And that was really one of the draws, but also just the innovation in the space and what's going to happen in our industry.
And it's already happening.
It is already happening. That's right. And so being able to kind of be on the forefront of that and bring a perspective of the contractor and how to help them be successful in it, because it would be very easy just to say, okay, have a store on your website, which is really so out of the norm for our industry, right? But you could just do that, but ultimately, unless you work it and market it and help your people understand the value of it, your customers won't understand the value of it. And so I feel real lucky to be in the position to be able to bring the contractor perspective to the contractors, but also maybe for Contractor Commerce to kind of say, here's what contractors do, here's how they think, here's what they need help with. And be able to develop some of that stuff to help them be successful.
So I think that's a great point. What do contractors think about e-commerce right now? I have my opinion.
So, yeah, I do too. Listen, I've being in the industry for this amount of time, the biggest thing, a hurdle over the last 10 years, 15 years is bringing the trades to the level that they deserved all along, right? And that blue collar is no different than white collar, than green collar, than any collar, right?
Yellow, purple.
Right, that's it. And so, but the whole thing was, if you're going to elevate your company, you need to be in front of the customer and you need to sell your value. Right? We don't give prices over the phone. We don't give ballparks. We go to your home, we talk to you, we build a relationship. And then once we have all the information and we see what you want, then we craft a proposal for you. Right? And so that's what we've all been taught over the last, forever, but more in the last 10 or 12 years. That's really been as we brought the industry up to where it should be. And so now we're saying, no, that's not what we mean. Now do this, right? Now go online and give somebody a quote without ever speaking to them. And so it's a little bit for, I think, most contractors, it's scary. It gives an insight into your business that you might not want your competitor to have. And so you feel very much like, how do you show that value without being in front of the customer? And so it's really a change of thinking, right? And we have to figure out how to do it our way, but do it their way, right?
Yeah, I think that's the greatest point, is the fear in change.
Yes.
Everyone has a fear in change and innovation because it's scary, it's new, but marketing and advertising is a constant test. And if we're not out there testing, then what are we doing, right? Because
No
even
doubt.
if we have a campaign that's been going for a long time, well, that test is now probably in need of more testing
That's
of
right.
a different audience or a different content or, you know, design or something like that. It's just, we're constantly, as even humans, we're a test.
That's right.
The content is never perfection, and what was once is not now what it is today. And
That's so true.
yeah, we just have to understand that with our marketing, it has to go the same way. We can't be with, you know, well, we've always done it this way. Well, yeah,
right.
we've always done it this way, but that doesn't mean that you can't iterate, because it needs iteration. And so that's what I really hear. It's like, well, I don't want people to see my prices. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the consumer behavior has changed so significantly that, especially during COVID, what were you doing?
Right.
Buying toilet paper online, right?
That's right.
It would be like, you know what, I can't go to the store. I have to buy this online. They're like, don't go outside, right? Like, things change.
You had to do it.
You know, chaos and disruption leads to digital growth, but it also doesn't mean don't pay attention to the traditional channels. It just means digital is growing, and Google is pushing you to e-commerce, and Home Advisor and Angie's List and all of them are pushing, in Amazon, they're all pushing us towards e-commerce. They want the trades to behave the same way other industries do. And so why not?
Right.
The question is like,
well, and that's the thing, you know, I was doing some research and I found a little tidbit that said since 2020, there's been a 259% increase in e-commerce just in 2 years, right? And then it said that 70% of consumers, who 3/4 are millennials, right? But 70% of them would buy something over $50,000 online. 27% of them would buy something over $500,000 online. So that's where it's going, right? So either be with them or don't, right? But the consequences of don't are huge. And I tell my contractors all the time, you know, it really has changed quickly. Honestly, I think it has been coming, but obviously the last 2 years has really pushed it. And I think that, you know, it is a change in behavior, but either we can meet people where they want to shop or where we want them to shop. And we can define the behavior, right? And if we are going to continuously say, well, you're only going to shop where we say, well, there's a whole group of people that are not going to meet us there, right? And so these people, the consumers that want to shop on Friday night at 11 p.m. when they're hot, then they are going to respond to us because they can get a quote online, and then tomorrow morning, which is Saturday, we can follow up, and then we can either install tomorrow or install Monday, whatever it is, right? But if they've got to wait until Monday for us to come out and then check on everything, then we run the risk of losing them.
Yeah, we're delaying the purchase cycle, right?
That's right. And in our industry, of course, it's most of the time it's critical, right? They're ready to get to us or us to get to them immediately. So I think really changing that mindset. And again, I think the biggest thing for me is that it's so early for where we are in e-commerce in the trades. We can define what the experience is. Right? We decide how they're going to feel about it. We decide how we're going to normalize it. When I train technicians and CSRs, I tell them all the time, like, the way that you present it is the way your customer will feel about it. So if you're like, oh my gosh, did you know you can get a quote online? Or did you know you can buy filters online from us? Then the customer's like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. How do I do that? But if you're like, yeah, we got this thing and you could try it, but I don't really think it's cool, well, then they're going to think the same thing, right? I just think that we have to be looking at how things have gone quickly. And again, 2 years ago, you would have never bought a car online that you had never sat in or drove or smelled the new car smell in. And right now, you can order one today and it'll be in your driveway tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And so
purchasing homes online, right?
Right. That's right. And so if they're doing it, why can't we?
Mhm.
And I think again, if we're going to be on the forefront as contractors, then you can define what that experience looks like for the homeowner. And to be honest, there's nothing better about building integrity and trust with a client than being transparent. And that's honestly what this process allows you to do, right? There's nothing hidden here, right? We're not saying that the price online is definitive, because in our platform, we're depending on the homeowner to give us all the information.
Mhm.
I think it's great because then we can get to their home when we do go meet with them. And we're like, well, you kind of gave us some of the wrong information, but good thing we're here because now we can make sure you have the right information, right?
Right, because
So,
when they don't know, right? Like, okay, what's your square foot of your home? Got that one. But
right,
where in the backyard, or where can this go, and where's the furnace going to be cut in, and like what, or if it needs a cut in, or
that's right,
your condenser outside, is it blocked by a bunch of foliage because now you're blocking the production? Like,
exactly,
all these little things. So you could say, thank you so much for taking that time to fill out that survey. It really helps us. Now that we're evaluating your home, we're noticing that maybe there's a miscommunication between what you are seeing versus what is actually happening here. So let me bring you up to speed and educate you a little bit as to what we can do and what what you wanted to do, because
right,
that package might not even fit in your home.
that's right,
And it's our job as a contractor to continue to build that trust throughout the entire process by saying, I understand what you're looking for, but
right,
that Ferrari that you might need
right.
won't fit in your home. So
Sure.
it's not
Yeah,
something.
or here's a better option, right? And so again, it doesn't have to be about always it being the lowest price. Maybe they chose the highest price and that's not the right thing. I think the whole point is literally they are further down the buying process by time the contractor then gets their information. And
Mhm.
so that's huge because as a contractor, it's saving you time, right? Because not everyone is your customer. And so maybe there's people that, they are only buying on price. Maybe they are buying on a certain brand. Now we kind of know those things in order to be able to make those decisions for ourselves as contractors, and the customer can make that decision a little bit earlier, right? So now we're not wasting each other's time at all. I think that's hugely valuable, right? That when we get out there, there's no sticker shock. They already know what range they're in. They're a little bit more educated possibly, and now the door is open because they have good questions that they're able to ask. To me, it's been such a win, and the contractors on top of that, not only my own experience, but the contractors that I'm working with that have just said, I'm going for it. I'm just going to jump in and go. It's been amazing, right? The number of quotes that they are seeing has increased over the months that they've been in it. The levels of tickets that they're closing they're comparable, if not better, than what they're used to. Again, because you're going to get more of your client, right? When they are getting those quotes. So I do think that it comes with a commitment, one to just the process, and it comes with a commitment to training of your staff. And to me, that's marketing too, because we so often as owners get excited about something that we don't share with our staff, right? We're like, e-commerce, best thing, we're all doing it, right? Good luck. Good luck, everybody. And then, you know, our CSRs, who are just the heart of our company, are getting a phone call and they're like, we do e-commerce? Like, what is that? Right? And so I think that's the other part of it, is that the commitment needs to come with everybody being on board and understanding why, you know, why are we doing e-commerce? How does it help us? How does it make us more efficient? How is it going to help our customer? How's it going to help us stand out among everybody else in our city that we're competing against? And giving our people the words to tell our customers that, right? I'm so excited about this store because it makes life easier for you, right? Now in the background, he or she is like, thank God we don't have to worry about getting filters out to you again, right?
Or like, oh my God, did we send Mrs. Jones filters?
Right. Now it's Miss Jones' responsibility, which is amazing, right? A win for everybody.
Right. And now, I mean, even if it's a barrier of entry is showing our large equipment prices, right? We're like, okay, I'm going to sell this for $30,000. And I know my competitor is only selling this for 15. And then I know, you know, down the street, they're selling it for 11. Right. And they're like, how do I even compete with that? Well, you're competing because you're adding value to the consumer journey by giving them the instant gratification of being able to see your prices online, of being able to click the button for something that they need, solving a problem. And so when you think in those terms of marketing and advertising, of how am I solving the solution before others?
That's right.
Win every single time, because you're adding value and education to people. And that in the consumer process, that's what it's about. We're not telling them our story of why you should just pay this amount of money for equipment. We're saying, no, we want to help you faster. We want to get there quicker. And it doesn't even have to start with huge install items. It can start with a subscription plan. That's right. I mean,
that's it. Well, and that's the whole thing, you know. I think it truly is about changing behavior. And one is filters. There's no question. It's super simple, you know, giving your customers the ability to go online, order their filters, drop ship directly to them. Again, a very Amazon-like experience. They're there in 2 days, very comparable pricing, all of that. So that's huge. They can go online and buy our service contract. That's amazing. And I'll tell you, that is, for me, I do a ton of social media marketing. It's just my favorite. And Facebook ads, right? Well, how silly is it that for years and years, we are delivering ads to people at 11 o'clock at night that says, you know, hey, we're so awesome and you need a service agreement with us. Call us tomorrow. Right?
Yeah.
I don't have time to call you tomorrow, right? I mean,
forget about it by like 5 minutes from now and be like, I wanted to do this, but
and then 3 weeks later, you're like, oh man, I was going to call. Well, now with this ability, you have a link to the store where they just go on and they buy the service agreement right then. And then now as a contractor, we're prompted to call them tomorrow or text how they really want to be communicated with, right? They don't really want to call. They really want a text message, because no different than you and I being on the phone right now. If I bought my service agreement yesterday and then they text me right now, like I'm like, yep, sounds great. See you tomorrow. And no one's the wiser, right? So it's all about taking the barriers out of the experience for the customer, right? And so a barrier is call me tomorrow. A very great way to do business is buy now. And because that's really how I want to do work, right? And so I see what you sell. I see what comes with this service agreement. Yes, sign me up. And then you reach out to me because now I did it. And so now it's on you, right? And as a contractor, of course, we're going to follow up and we're going to get you scheduled. And so now you're our customer, right? So it's just a complete different way of being able to attract customers and do business where and how they want to do it. So I think that's huge. And then, of course, you know, with quotes, I mean, that's I need it right now. And so I want to know, and I want the answer. And really, I talk to contractors all the time now about their websites and how for so long we've had these beautiful websites, right? And we have so many companies out there that are doing just wonderful jobs. They're helping us spend money on PPC and SEO and make them so people can find us. And then they get there and they spend 30 seconds on our website, right? Because there's nothing to do there. What do? You look at the pictures, you might read, yes, they're in Charleston. Yes, they're in California. They have some good reviews, right? But now with the ability to have e-commerce on our websites, now we go there to do something. We're going to go there and buy something. We're going to go there and get a quote for something. And so it's just a real different experience. And then while you're there, buy filters. While you're there, get a service agreement. But I think that there's such an opportunity for marketing agencies to now quantify that business that they're sending to the website, because now we can see real lead capture. Now we can see real lead money, the sale being completed at the door. So I think there's just some awesome opportunity there.
Yeah. And so is it like a widget, or is it like a landing page that you're building with the Contractor Commerce? Does it direct them off of their site, or is it built within their site?
It is built within their site. So it's actually a page on their website where it does not take you outside of their website, which is great. Very little issues with the performance of the site with it on there. That's always a concern. But we have seen little to no issues with that. And it looks like you. It doesn't look like Contractor Commerce, right? And so even through the buying process, when you buy filters, it's all branded. All of the shipping notifications, all of the emails, they're branded your company. So there's nothing, we're just in the background. We're just taking care of the efficiencies, the shipping, all of that kind of stuff. And it looks like you. Same thing with the service agreements. All of, so products are things that we ship, and that's 350 different OEM filters. Tons there, anything you could want in that space. Services are things that the contractor would sell and provide. So don't think of just service agreements. You could put Wi-Fi thermostat installation. You could put IAQ product installation, right? Anything that you would say, here's a quote for what this cost with installation, that's what you would put in your services tab. And then the last part is a system quote. And that part can be very much customized. There's certain questions that we walk through the customer with: size of home, heat source, where's your air handler, those kinds of things. Very simple, 4 to 5 questions. And then they get 3 to 4 options for what they want to purchase. So the very cool thing is also a very nice Service Titan integration, which is awesome, where once they're finished with the process, then it comes over as a booking. And so now it's on your booking screen, and it will even come over with their preferred appointment time. Because once they get the quote, now it's understood that we're going to come out there and confirm the information. And I was very excited to work with our developers on that, because I like that it comes across as a booking, because it leaves the contractor still in control of making that appointment. And what's great is that when it comes over with their preferred appointment time, if that time is acceptable to your schedule, book it. We don't have to talk, right? Because our booking confirmation goes out, you're on the schedule, we're all good. If it doesn't work with your schedule, now you have the information, you reach out and you make a time that works for you and the homeowner. So that's huge. And again, efficiency.
Automation and efficiency, like that's where marketing is going always, and that's where just life is going. We want things to be more convenient.
That's it. That's
You know,
all.
like we want everything to be automated and efficient. Yeah, okay, if I'm out of milk, I would love my fridge to be like, Sarah, you're out of milk. I went to go purchase it for you, and it's now in your refrigerator. That would be the most amazing thing ever.
It's coming,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
probably is with the, like, I've seen some really crazy videos, but at the
Right.
same time, it's like there's just no reason that I see not to take this opportunity,
Yeah,
because
me
we
either.
have to let go of the fear in business. And I know it's scary. Trust
Yeah.
me. I know, like, failing forward is sometimes like catastrophe, but
Right.
other times you can get such small wins that are actually gigantic wins when you look at it the right way.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I think that, everyone's like, this is our problem. This is our problem. No, it's an opportunity, because
Mhm.
opportunities can be iterated on. Problems or something that you're constantly wanting to solve.
That's
And
true.
nobody wants to sit there and solve problems all day.
Well, yeah, and this is already solved for you. I mean, it literally is, I mean, a filter store you could have up in a day. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's it. It's on your site. And it's very simple to set up. We help you through the process. So that makes it very simple. And the part that I feel like I've really been able to take ownership of is, once you have it on your site, then I'll do a marketing and onboarding call. And I've developed very short trainings for your CSRs and your technicians. I've developed a leave behind for the homeowners, for the technicians to introduce, with a QR code that takes the homeowner directly to the store. And we've kind of gotten away from leave behinds in the last several years, so it's kind of new, right? Something for the homeowner to have. And then that training again, because then now your staff and your team understands why we're doing it, and they're comfortable with how to use it. So then it's easy to answer questions, and the more comfortable they are, the more likely they will present it to the homeowner. So I think that's the thing, that a lot of times we do have these shiny things that we are, excited about, but there's no really good implementation of the idea, and no really good support of how to make it successful. And so I'm excited that, the team at Contractor Commerce, has, first of all, has all this in place, but then has given me the opportunity to kind of develop what I know contractors need, and the level of support that they need in order to be successful with it. And so that's been really fun to get going.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's a marketing strategy behind this, because there's a entire customer journey. It's not just the customer clicks a button and then all of a sudden, well, the CSR needs to know what to do. The technician needs to know what to do. The salesperson, the install team, like, what additional add-ons the consumer journey doesn't stop just because it stops.
That's right.
And then there's a rehash strategy for what didn't sell, right?
Sure.
So you can utilize Marketing Pro to go after those rehashes of what didn't sell. And then to say, you know what, we have a new subscription offer just for you. And you put that link into an email in Marketing Pro, and boom, your existing clients list just found out that you have a new service that's offered. And
sure. Well, it's just like having service agreements, honestly. I mean, as owners, we're always trying to establish more value for our company, and we've always kind of hung our hat on, well, we have 1,000 service agreements or 10,000 service agreements. What if you had 1,000 filter subscriptions, right? I mean, you're basically, you're tying yourselves to these homeowners in a different way. I look at it, I love service agreements. I think they're amazing. I get in front of the homeowner twice a year. People need filters 4 times a year, at least, right?
Yeah, in California, I need to change mine every like 4 weeks, because
so if you're getting an email from, Anchor Heating and Air once a month, and a box that has my, my name on the receipt, you're seeing me. I'm your company, right? We're tied to each other. It's a constant marketing, being able to market to our homeowners. And then when that's layered with social media, with an ability for your to use it for outbounding, right? Because when it's slow, you can your CSRs can outbound that service agreement link out. Hey, we did work with you last month and you didn't buy a service agreement. Here's the link, right? And then now using Marketing Pro to be able to send a welcome email. Glad you have a subscription, right? Glad that you got a quote.
Yes, I'm creating templates for that. That's coming out soon.
Right. And that's the thing, I think, Sarah, you know this as much as I do. Marketing Pro can do so much. And sometimes we get overwhelmed and it's like, it can do so much, we don't get it to do anything. Well, right. And which is, I mean, it's great to have something like that. Now having this, like, I can show you exactly how to create the email campaign. So now you can make your first campaign in Marketing Pro, right? And it might just be about your filter store, but that's huge, right? Because now you're getting more value for something that you are investing in. And that's, listen, you know what I know, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. But it might be the first step for some of our contractors to really start using these tools. And the payoff is huge, right?
Yeah, I can only imagine, because membership is always attrition, and it's always retention, and it's always hard to measure, right? Because you're going in and out, but if you're going in and out so much, it's because you have an inconsistent marketing message. And we're like, oh, we only want to bring up membership when we need them. But during the summer, we're watching them call because we didn't speak to them throughout the entire year. So what if you spoke to them with value added messages of, hey, you know what, your filter is coming to your home. Do you need any service now? Like, here's the problems that you could foresee in the future when summer comes, or when winter comes, or when fall comes. So you're adding value to the message of consistency. You're not just saying, here's an offer, here's an offer, here's an offer. You're saying your filters are on their way, but here's what we're noticing in the air. Would you like us to increase your filter subscription? Because there's a lot of smoke. There's like 72 wildfires, right?
Yeah.
So we can increase this for you. Like, this is something that is definitely needed. And if you need service, we also have air scrubbers. We have other, things that you can bring into your home, because we noticed your home didn't have it.
That's right.
So it's about creating and crafting a consistent marketing strategy that has not only what they need as your service, but has value and education to say, you might be missing this, and here's why you need it. And you're not just in it to sell it. You're in it to just bring and nurture that relationship, especially as we go into what they want to say, we're looming on a recession.
Sure.
Cool. We're looming on a recession. The trades have been through chaos and disruption, and so has everybody else, right? We get it. But that just means that you have to optimize your marketing budget, which means you have to optimize your channels that you are using to be more efficient and automated. Use what you have, and then watch those KPIs and watch what you're spending. In order to do that, you go after your existing clients and nurture them, right? If you're nurturing them with products like Contractor Commerce, then you have a more loyal customer base that has additional sales that you can add on or sell to. And we don't do as great a job on marketing to our existing customers as we should, right? I mean, we're so all about, finding the new customer, and that's expensive, and there's a place for it, right? I mean, there's no question. We want to be front and center when somebody needs us, but we're not offering things to people who already trust us and are doing business with us. So, I mean, that's a huge aspect for me. I think the being able to order filters, to make their life easier. I mean, we've already created this relationship that we have. So now I've already established my my value to offer you other things that you don't know about. And I think that's a huge thing that we need to take advantage of. And again, same thing, goes back to Marketing Pro. Like, if that is the case where we're going to decide, well, we're not going to spend money on this, but we're going to spend money on that, Marketing Pro has all of those capabilities to be able to support this and to nurture that relationship with your existing customer that much more.
So I think that's huge. I think also there's one thing on our program that has always been difficult for contractors, and that is memberships with recurring monthly recurring billing. It's just hard to figure out how to set it up and all that kind of stuff. We have the ability to do that as well. So there's just certain aspects that might just help the consumer move into that relationship with us, right? And so I think any way that we can nurture that is a win, no question.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I'm for e-commerce, and you know, honestly, I wanted to start it a long time ago, and I never got to take it that far. And man, it was just something that was on the very, like, right there. And then I left and went to Service Titan, but being able to see Contractor Commerce just take it, and you know, when it first came out, I was like, okay, I want to hear the conversions, I want to hear this, I want to hear other people that have tested, because the larger companies will wait sometimes when it comes to innovation and adoption of new products just to see what's going out there. The ones that will adopt really quickly in the large companies are people that are thinking like, we need to move the needle, right?
And that's where I've seen the most, the companies that have been the most successful, because we have very large companies that are using our platform. We have very small 1 and 2 truck companies that are using our platform. I will say the ones that are the most, have been the most successful, have been the ones that have just jumped in and said, listen, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go in, quotes, service agreements and filters, right? I'm just going to go for it. And also have taken advantage of the marketing and training aspects, because I've likened it to a hammer, right? So a hammer is an awesome tool. And our tool is this store, and you can put this store on your website. But if you never put muscle behind that hammer, it's just a tool that sits on the counter, right? It doesn't do anything. It looks nice, it has capabilities, but it's not doing anything. Same thing with our store. If you just put it on your website, the customer is not, they don't have the behavior to go to the HVAC website and go buy something. They've never done that before. So we have to market to them so that they know that they can go do it. The companies that have trained their staff, have done some just social media, very light Facebook advertising, all of that, they're the ones that are like, this is crazy, I can't believe I never did this, right? It takes off. And so you go from getting, you know, a couple leads a month to getting 6 a day, right? That's huge. Close a couple of those and you have certainly, you know, it's not hard, right? But you need to jump in and you need to do something with it. And again, I think that's the biggest thing, is just having that support and closing the loop on implementation. And our people that have marketing agencies love it, and ones that have in-house marketing. And I have lots of companies that the owners are doing the marketing and they can see it too. So it's not, it doesn't preclude anybody from being able to participate. It's just your commitment level for getting it out to your homeowner. And Marketing Pro certainly, you know, helps with that in a multitude of ways. So
yeah, most definitely. And really, you're just so right. It's about a commitment, and marketing and advertising is a commitment, and it's a commitment of consistency. It's a commitment of nurture and of loyalty, not only for your customers, because your customers are your heroes. It is crafting a story that you want to continue because it's your legacy and you have a why behind it. And I hear a lot of times they're like, oh, well, you know, we bought this product, but it just doesn't work. Or we're using this agency and they just aren't working. And I'm like, cool. So what's happening is we're not utilizing the product that we bought because we don't know enough information. Because just like in the industry, a quote no simply means that there was not enough value, there was not enough content, there was not enough for information for that customer to convert.
That's right.
Don't be that customer. You have all the tools right here in your hands. We're
Right.
giving them to you. We're saying,
Yeah.
here's marketing strategies. Here's
Yes.
what you've done. This we've done it too. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
we will hold your hand for a little bit, but at some point you have to take significant action for yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, even as a marketer in the trades, I want to say that to people. It's like we have so many action points to take, and the advice that we give is not just advice, it's things that we've done.
That's
And
right.
if you're taking action, that is not our problem, that is your problem. And
Right.
and then I will always say that to them, because that's
Mhm.
honesty and transparency, and that's how I care.
That's right.
So I think like that's a great point, is that whatever tools you are given, it is your job to utilize the tool and to learn that tool.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, I mean, I think part of, you know, filters is getting the homeowner to take responsibility for those filters, right? And so what we're saying in marketing for the contractor is like, here's the tool. It's your responsibility to use it, right? You have the things to use. So I just think the support is so important, because you know, you can get so global. Like there's so many things that you could do, right? You got to remind people about filters. You got to market your service agreement. You got to get quotes. You got, like, there's so much. You got to tell everybody what you do in the community. You got to show your brand, all those things. You know, this is one of those things that can really kind of hit all three of those, right? You know, and having the ability to market, you know, send out the email, a reminder, set it and forget it. Like those are really great things. And I think the payoff is huge, right? Because your customer continuously sees you. Your customer continuously sees the next new thing. When they need a quote, they know where to get it. And again, I think that it is really just changing our websites and that investment, right? Because we supposedly we can quantify it, right? That we're our leads are converting. This is a no-brainer, right? I know if this converted, did they call us? Did we get an email from them? Did we go out to their house? Did we sell it? Yes or no, right? Either one. But I think once you get to that point now, you know, it really is, now it is your responsibility, right? If you close it, it is on you. We get you this far. So, and I think the other thing just to bring up is, because it's so new, I think there's a real opportunity to capture some maybe SEO and PPC opportunities that people aren't using because they don't have the capability, right? Because online quote, I mean, there has to be some campaigns out there that you can use around online quote if you're actually giving an online quote, you know? Not just that we have the ability for you to schedule a quote, but we have the ability to give you the actual number. So that's few and far between. In your market, you could be first. You could be the only one.
I like that. In your market, you could be first. Did you hear that? Stephanie said that.
That's right. You could be first, right?
So might be first. Yeah. What's that? I have a T-shirt that says that.
Yeah.
Be first or last.
That's right. Well, and this is my thing. I think in this space, so when you think e-commerce gets bigger, because that's what I hear from some people, like, when it gets bigger, I'll get in it. Okay. How about the party has already started? You should know where the party is. And if you're smart, you'll already be at the party. Because when it gets bigger, you can always get somebody else to dance with at the party. But if you don't have an invitation, you're on the outside, right? It'll be too late by the time you're like, hey, I wish I was at the party, right? Yeah. So now is the real opportunity to get in early. And it's really just about the education. You know, we've been to tons of trade shows, of course, and I feel like sometimes people look at us like we have, you know, three eyes, like e-commerce, what's that, right? And the funny thing is, they're ordering their own stuff online. Yeah, like they're ordering their own equipment for their company online, but they don't give their own homeowner the ability to do the same thing, right? So once we get a minute to talk to the contractor and explain what we do and what they can do, they're like, yeah, sign me up, right? So it's just about getting the time to get that education. And then, you know what? Be the first to the party. That's
Yeah.
the big thing. So
Yeah. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this. And if you're out there listening, contractors, Stephanie, she's giving you an invitation to the party. So take the invitation. Look at Contractor Commerce, look at how you can utilize this in your marketing. And really, the sky is the limit because there are infinite possibilities in what you can do. And now is the time to innovate. So, Stephanie, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. I love the opportunity. And of course, I love what Service is doing in the industry, and I'm glad to get to be part of that.